and the world woke up to what we are now probably known as the worst child abuse scandal in the modern world.
With the council in disgrace, the government commissioned civil servant Louise Casey to investigate. The 2015 Casey report discovered a council in denial, refusing to believe that 1,400 girls in the town had been abused. The report blamed political correctness for the council's failures. Statistics on ethnicity were removed. Pakistani taxi drivers were described as men of a certain ethnicity engaged in a particular occupation. Despite reports going back to the 1990s, only one gang had been convicted, in 2010, with the help of risky business. It was called Operation Central.
What happened then is they called a meeting to discuss the concerns that I'd raised, and a police officer that was there, it was only a young police officer, he decided to put all this intelligence together, put it all onto the police system and take it to his sergeant. I met with his sergeant, Rupert Chang, who I think is Rotherham's unsung hero.
Rupert Chang's operation saw 5 men convicted, but 80 suspects had been identified. Clearly, the police needed to push on, but they didn't.
Throughout that, we was told that Central 2 would come straight after Central 1. And then as soon as Central 1 had ended, we were told there were no more resources, it were too resource intensive, and that was it. But we could have done so much more.
Why did the police and council fail to kick on with their success? Casey's report suggested a widespread culture of denial and ignorance.
Social workers accepted it as normal that underage girls were taking drugs, being made to give sexual services, and having pregnancies or abortions. Of one 13-year-old given alcohol and abused, they wrote, "She needs more appropriate friends and interests to fill her time." The girl's parents eventually had to move overseas to escape the menace of their rape gang tormentors.
After the Casey report's release in 2015, more arrests were finally made. Arshid Hussain, the rapist who handed over an abused girl to PC Hassan Ali at a petrol station, was convicted with his 3 brothers and his uncle, as well as 2 white women, who lured girls to their homes and pimped them out to the rapists.
On the day that PC Ali was told he was under police investigation, he was run over and killed by a family friend. Any investigation into his alleged criminality died with him. The National Crime Agency also launched an ongoing investigation into historic abuse in Rotherham, the largest in their history. So far, they have identified 1,510 victims and hundreds of abusers. Another 20 men have been convicted for their crimes in Rotherham alone. The Casey report singled out Councillor Jahangir Akhtar for his malign influence after he arranged the handover of the raped girl at the petrol station. The Labour Party forced him to resign.
Years later, his daughter was given a job at a council-funded charity, giving her access to a database with confidential information on grooming gang victims.
There was no suggestion that she did anything wrong, but victims said there was a potential conflict of interest.
After the Casey report revealed council failures, an investigation into the police was launched by the Independent Police Complaints Commission. They found that the father of a girl who was raped in Clifton Park and suffered internal injuries was told by a police officer that he hoped it would teach her a lesson. They found that police officers, finding girls in bed with older men or even in the middle of a sex act, failed to do anything. Worried parents were told that having an Asian boyfriend was just a fashion accessory their daughters would grow out of. There were 265 allegations of misconduct, with 91 investigations involving 47 officers. Of those, only 5 suffered any penalties. Nobody was fired.